And welcome to my, part 1 of my tutorial on how to paint Hive Fleet Kraken. So, here's the unit that we're going to be painting. It's just a basic Gene Stealer with siding talons and some extended carapace piece. So, we're going to start off by showing the paints that we're going to use to paint this color scheme. So, for the first paint, our base coat of the white model, like this, with the skull white primer from Citadel. We're going to be washing this model with a base coat of Iyanden Darksun, and I'll be posting the corresponding color to the newer colors that they're coming out with. So I'll have the color that you can use if you're on the newer paints. So when we start by washing the entire model down with Iyanden Darksun, you don't have to be overly careful when it comes to using this color when you're washing it. You know, don't be so careful of the siding talons or any of the claws. Just kind of wash the entire model and the carapace as well. Just wash the entire thing with it. And I'll be showing in the different parts how I'm going to be doing that. Next, once you've washed with the Iyanden Darksun, put that over there. We're going to wash that with Sepia. I'm not sure how to pronounce that first part, but Sepia. And as the corresponding color to the newer paints, Sepia again. So, with that, I'm going to wash all of the entire model. And then once you've done that, you're then going to wash with Devlan mud. But that's actually going to come later on in the model. But those are the paints that go in, those are the washes that go into making the skin. So, then we're going to be painting the carapace. And the carapace is going to have Mephiston Red. That's going to be the base color for these for the carapace, and you can then highlight the carapace with Evil Sun Scarlet, which is also blood red, if you wish. In this tutorial, I did not, but for the sake of it, you can do this also. It looks pretty cool. I used it on my larger Trigon. I like it, but for smaller units, it's pretty time consuming, so I wouldn't bother, but that's just me. Next, so once you've painted these carapace here with the Mephiston Red, and you've done the skin, the two washes that make the wash of the Iyanden Darksun and Sepia, you're going to then paint the claws. You're going to paint, actually here, so the carapace is also washed with Devlan mud. I basically painted the claws, the tongue, and the carapace, and then I did a Devlan mud wash over the entire model. So that's the order that things go in. For the claws, we have the base Steel Legion Drab. It's kind of a darker brown color. It creates a very nice base to begin our highlighting. So we start with that, and then we move into the first highlighting color, which is going to be Balor Brown. So that's going to be, as you can see, lighter than the Steel Legion Drab. That's going to be our first highlighting color over that. Then, getting lighter, we have Screaming Skull. So that's going to highlight on top of that, and to top it all off, we have White Scar, which is pure white. It's going to create this highlighting effect, as you can see. Hopefully, you can see on these claws right there. See how it goes from darker to light, and you're also going to be doing it on the these siding talons as well. And also, don't forget his toes or feet or whatever you wish to call them. Don't forget them. So that is what's going to be going on to just the claws. The tongue like I mentioned, painting the tongue, I used Gryphonne green, and I'll also post its corresponding color in the description. Somewhere down there. So be sure to check that out. Gryphonne green, and this also gets washed over with the Devlan mud. Okay, so we're gonna pick this camera up and get a quick look at all these paints. So at this point you can move on to the next part, but I'm just gonna do a quick run over in order of usage. We're gonna start with the Iyanden and Darksun wash. Then we're going to wash over the top of that with Sepia, of course, once it's dried. Once we do that, I'm going to paint the carapace Mephiston Red. Like that. Once I paint the carapace red, green. With the Gryphonne green, I'm going to paint the tongue. And then I'm also going to paint the claws and the side and talons and toes, Steel Legion Drab. Once I have done that, then we wash the entire model with Devlan mud. Yay. It's going to really darken up the skin and the carapace and tongue as well. And I'll also explain why I'm using Devlan mud on the Kraken scheme. Most people just use the sepia and layer the sepia until it's darkened or detailed to their liking. But I like to use Devlan mud. It just gives it a really nice detail. And I'll explain all that in the tutorial later on. And then once we've done all that, then we layer the claws, Balor brown, skull white, and then white scar. And I'll show how much you want to be highlighting with each layer in the videos as well. So I'll just go ahead and leave it at this. So go ahead and move on to part 2.